House Speaker Nancy Pelosi doubling down on how her party handled Congresswoman Ilhan Omar's comments comparing the U.S. and Israel to terrorists like the Taliban. Listen here.
We did not rebuke her. We thanked, acknowledged that she made a clarification. Congresswoman Omar is a valued member of our caucus. Then she clarified it, and we thanked her for clarification.
So do you want people to just let it go?
They could say whatever they want, but what I'm saying is end of subject. She clarified, we thanked her, end of subject.
Oh, okay, I guess it's all over then. No rebuke, that's fine. And in a somewhat rare move, AOC is siding with Pelosi.
I believe that her comments were absolutely mischaracterized to assert that she was equating these two entities when she was speaking about the ICC investigations in which all four parties are being investigated for instances of war crimes. I believe to assert that this was equating these two, I believe was not it was not a generous interpretation whatsoever. As Speaker Pelosi said, we are putting this behind us, and I believe that we will ultimately come together as a caucus.
It was all just a big misunderstanding. She did lump us in, the U.S., also Israel, with the Taliban and with Hamas. And she led with the U.S. in the list of people who had committed unthinkable atrocities, is what she said. So, Sean, I want to go to you on this first, because we touched on this subject on yesterday's show as well. And there's an angle here that I think is interesting. There were a handful of Republicans, House Republicans, who voted along with the Democrats a few weeks ago on Marjorie Taylor Greene and stripping her of her committees based on some pretty outrageous things she had said before joining Congress. 8 of those Republicans signed a letter to Pelosi saying, well, hang on. We were willing to hold our party to account. It's your turn to be consistent and apply some issues here, or at least apply some ramifications to a member of your own party. Do you have the courage and consistency to do so? And I guess we got our answer loud and clear.
The answer is heck no. But I'll give those 8 members 3 cheers for consistency for calling out both sides of the aisle. Good for them. But I mean, clarification to your point in the question, this was pretty clear. The tweet was calling out the U.S., Hamas, Israel, and the Taliban as terrorists. There's no need for clarification. The tweet was crystal clear itself. And you might get to this later, but I want to bring this up. There was Ilhan Omar actually sent out a tweet or retweet of the International Solidarity Movement, right? This is an anti-Israel group that's been linked to a terror group, right? And so what's happened since January 6th, just to put this in context for you guys, Democrats felt threatened by Republicans, so they did something I think really offensive. They put up metal detectors outside of the House chamber and make everybody walk through the metal detector. How do you think the Jewish members of the House now feel with Ilhan Omar retweeting Israeli hate group that's tied to terrorists? How safe do they feel in the House with her in that chamber? But they're erecting metal detectors to keep Democrats safe from Republicans. This stuff is outrageous. The Democrat Party has, on the extreme ends, not in the middle, but in the extreme ends, they become anti-Israel, they become anti-Jewish. And I think when we look at the Jewish violence in America, it comes back to the apologists in the Democrat Party for hating Israel and hating Jews.
Yeah, well, there are some very awkward conversations, I would imagine, or glances in the hallway around Capitol Hill based on exactly that. And I think the anti-Israel sentiment, unfortunately, is growing within the Democratic Party, not just with their base, but with members of Congress as well. And that's part of the reason why this is a very uncomfortable subject. This is why Pelosi wants to get past it as soon as possible. She and AOC singing from the same hymnal. Oh, no, we're done here. And actually, Alicia, on that point, I feel like if this were an intra-Republican rumble with Republicans going after each other, the media loves this. They love strife within the GOP, and you would be getting pointed follow-ups. This story would be kept alive, I think, by journalists and reporters, and they wouldn't just be able, the Democrats, to get away with waving their hands and pretending like they have some kumbaya moment, because there are some really serious underlying tensions and problems here. Is the media going to do the same job here that they would if the partisan roles were reversed, based on our last conversation, last segment? I have a suspicion.
I don't think so. I mean, in that soundbite that we played with Nancy Pelosi, which say 3 times, end of subject, end of subject, end of subject. Yeah. I mean, she's sitting there. Yeah, stop asking. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Did you hear me? Let me say it one more time. However, the people who she wants to take this signal from aren't just the people of her caucus. She wants the media to move on. And it will be interesting to see if those in the mainstream media take this cue and decide to move on to something else, because this is an uncomfortable moment for Democrats in the House. This is very difficult. And then when you have Representative Ocasio-Cortez saying that this was her words were mischaracterized, how were they mischaracterized if she then had to clarify? And Nancy Pelosi even complimented her for clarifying. So these two, while they're both trying to say it's time to move on, they don't even have their message straight.
And Abby, we all had the pleasure this morning of joining Fox and Friends Weekend with Sean's wife, Rachel, and company. And we were talking about this story just a little bit in that segment. And one of the most sort of eyebrow-raising wrinkles in my mind is Hamas putting out a statement thanking Ilhan Omar for her support for Palestine or Palestinian issues, but also saying, but hey, don't compare us to the U.S. or Israel, because in fairness, they're a terrorist organization, very different values. Your reaction to that?
Well, I said it this morning, too. I think the most mind-blowing thing about this in general is the fact that a U.S. Congresswoman and a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee has now drawn the attention of a terrorist organization for Hamas to address a tweet. I mean, I find something extremely unsettling about that. And it goes back to the whole conversation of what exactly is Ilhan Omar doing for her party and what is she doing for the American people? Why is the Democratic Party protecting her so much in her comments that she's made now not once, not twice, not three times, but multiple times, where it's raised a few eyebrows. And just to go back to what Sean was talking about, how she retweeted that video from the International Solidarity Movement, that was one day after she released this controversial tweet. And for those who don't know what ISM actually is, I know you had mentioned that they've been linked to or investigated for links to terrorists, but it also, by the ADL, was deemed in 2010 to be one of the top 10 anti-Israel organizations. So the fact that someone in Congress is doing this is just, I don't have the answer, and I don't know if we'll ever have the answer, but like you guys said, I think Nancy Pelosi just wants to move on from it because she knows what a big issue it is.
Well, we had a huge blow-up in 2019 over something that Ilhan Omar had said, a few different tweets, actually, anti-Semitic tropes, and that ended up being the Democrats circling the wagons around her. So the score seems to be, if you look at the scoreboard, Ilhan Omar 2, Nancy Pelosi 0. We'll leave it there for now.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.